All right, so you guys are probably wondering this yellow weird thing that Miss Kate gave you. Let's just pretend for a moment that this is like a timeline, okay? So have you ever seen a timeline like in history where an event happens, and it's on a line? Sometimes it's linear, sometimes it's all jagged and fun. So this is a timeline of school. This is a timeline of learning, and this is really kind of like a timeline of childhood. And for you kids, it's good to remember that there are other people on the same timeline. You are not in this thing by yourself. Absolutely. I mean, look around you. You have kids even here that are going through some of the same things that you are going through, and you are not alone. Also, the good news is that no matter if you look around and there is nobody, you're not by yourself on this timeline through school or through young adulthood or finding your first job and getting your driver's license and passing the state tests or trying homeschool for the first time or changing schools or moving. You're not by yourself. The beautiful thing is that Jesus is always with us. And so no matter where you're at on the timeline or where you find yourself as you're growing up, you're never by yourself. The other thing is that even though it was really, really difficult not to tear the paper, especially after I said it, because I kind of wanted to tear the paper, when we make mistakes, our timeline, God's timeline for us and his plans for our life, it's never broken. So even if you were to make a mistake, even if you were to mess up, even if you were to do something you knew was wrong, or maybe something you just made a decision and you didn't know, it's not over. The plan that God has for your life is much thicker, much greater than a silly piece of paper. God can use you no matter where you're at in the timeline, and he'll never leave you or forsake you. And that's just not me saying it. I didn't make it up. It's a promise. And can God lie? No. And if he can't lie and he says that he loves you and that he'll forgive you, is that a lie? No, it's a truth. So you can trust in that, right? For parents, I don't know about you, but this isn't long enough, right? It's not a long enough timeline. I want 6 more for my own kid. It's not long enough. And I think when we look at this, we are remembering that we blink, and in, I don't know, a millisecond, they're 3 inches taller, right? They're in the next grade, or they are on the volleyball team, or whatever, and we're just blinking, and it's gone, and all of a sudden they're driving on their own, or they're going for their first job, and it happens so fast. So there's a lot of tips and tricks for parenting. Self-help books, your Instagram, I'm sure, is filled with them. But when we look at Scripture, from Genesis all the way to Exodus, there is a common thread that's woven all the way through when it comes to parenting. And this is my interpretation, but it's be intentional. That's it. Be intentional. Be intentional with your time. Be intentional with the car rides to school or the way back from the big game. Be intentional with your conversations. Be intentional with listening, because time is short. And it's not something that just passes and then it's done. Eventually, I want to grow old and I want to look in the mirror and I want to not just say, God, I hope I did a good job with my kid. I want to look past the mirror and I want to see the young lady that she is, and I want to say, she knows you. She knows you. And I was intentional about doing it. I did everything that I could to bring her to church, to teach her, to model myself in a way that she might be able to see that the Christian life, while it might be hard, is worth it every step of the way. So my challenge to parents, especially seeing how short this timeline is, with John at the end of it, like he's like, woo, be intentional. Be intentional this year with your conversations and fight the right fight. We have so many fights that we're trying to fight. Make sure that they're on the right sports team, and make sure that they're not eating this dye, and make sure that their healthy habits are something that they carry through, and make sure that they have learned everything that they're supposed to learn, and that they're a whiz at this and that. And those are all good fights, but they're not the right fight. The right fight is, does my kid know who Jesus is on an individual level? That's the right fight. That's what being intentional looks like. So my challenge to you parents is to be intentional every day, especially this school year, because you don't know what they're facing. Every kid, even your kid, is an iceberg, right? We see what we can see, but there's so much that we don't. And so be intentional with your time. And to my kids, enjoy every minute and know that even if mistakes are made, God still has a plan for you. and that you're not in this thing alone, because there are other kids like you going through it, but also Jesus sees all things.